Yeah, hello everyone. This is Nepis here with another dungeon guide video, and this time we'll be going into Shadowfen and adventuring through Arx Corinium. Now, this is a dungeon that's very not seldom seen unless people are doing pledges. There's no real reason for a lot of people to come here. The monster set from here is also not that great. However, people do have trouble here in this dungeon because of how, little it's not ventured through. So today we'll be going through Arx Corinium on Veteran, and we'll also be doing the hard mode for the final boss. And as always, we do not have any champion points allocated, just to show you guys that it is possible to do without much CP or without CP at all. Now going through, you'll notice that most of the mobs are Lamians, Lurchers, and Serpents and such. They're not too hard to deal with. Just be careful when the Lamian do power up. When they sing, you can bash their singing because it is technically a cast and an interruptible. But other than that, the mobs in here aren't too threatening. They're pretty easy to handle as a tank because they come in tight packs of 4 to 6 rather than other dungeon mobs where they come in like 6 to 10. And here we have our first boss of Arx Corinium. It's the Fang Madness. Now you'll find out why he's called the Fang Madness. The poison AoE right there does damage you, but it also has a sinister side effect of healing the boss. So the longer you stand in that AoE when it spawns, the more health it gains from you standing in that AoE. So you want to get out of it as soon as possible and just clear the ads while you wait for the AoE to go away. And that's pretty much it. Fang Madness is no more. If your group does not have that much DPS, it can take maybe 2 or 3 more AoEs to go through. But other than that, as long as you're ranging it while it's also in that AoE state, its health will still go down. It doesn't just heal, it needs someone to stand inside of the AoE to heal. And here we go. We got more Lamia and snakes lying around, so we gotta stomp them. And some of them are powered up. How you can tell they're powered up is they finish singing, and their scales have these little blue runes all over them. So you don't want to get hit by them if you can as a DPS or healer. As a tank, you should be more than fine. It's a very snake-themed dungeon. And if you do have the quest, I think there's only 1 or 2 checkpoints at which you have to talk to the quest giver, which is a Nereid, and 2 of her other sisters, trying to get Arx Corinium back for nature. Not exactly sure why Lamia would be counterintuitive against having this place for nature, since they are part of nature, more so than the other races of Tamriel, but whatever. And here we have the second boss of Arx Corinium, the Wamasu. Now this Wamasu can be dangerous if your group is not comfortable standing in the electrified waters or something. Just stand on land and you're good to go. And even if you stand in the electrified water, your healer should be able to heal you through it. The Wamasu does a tail sweep, lightning cone with its breath, and it randomly targets a person with that lightning AoE, and it stuns you for a bit. So it's nice to kind of spread out in like a 4-point formation to see if the Wamasu will target one person or not, and this also gives you the additional benefit of only having one person stunned like that. And be very careful with this waterfall, because apparently there's a very painful rock at the base of it, and there's another waterfall coming up soon that has a similar rock at the base of it. And here we got more Lamia and snakes. Very good news for our arachnophobe friends in the ESO community. None of the spiders anymore, now it's just snakes. And here we encounter a Lurcher, and it's a pretty beefy ad, so it's over 400,000 health, and you just want to take your time with it. And again, you want to be very careful on waterfalls, as you'll see pretty soon. And there we go, and there we go, and there we go. Yeah, you just kind of want to jump out a bit further. I don't know why this waterfall has a rock with a bigger surface area than the other one, but why not? It's a pretty shitty feeling to have lost to no death to a waterfall if you are going for a no death achievement. Now again, we have more Lamian snakes. Not very difficult to contend with. Now, as you notice, some Lamia do summon these purple clones of themselves. There's no need to kill the purple clones as long as you kill the original Lamia that spawned the purple clone of herself, or itself. I don't know if they have any male Lamia. Okay, just herself. As long as you kill the original, the purple clone will die off. I think I just assumed the entire race is gender. Anyway, after you killed the Lamia over there, and then one of our friends in the group pull the Lamia over to the left to the narrow stairway. I wouldn't call it that, the staircase, I guess, because it's not really a staircase. But anyway, we pulled both sides and we cleared it, and now we have another trash mob here with a lurcher. Again, primarily focus on lurcher, because it is the only one that's actual of high threat. And we got one more serpent here before the next boss of Arx Corinium. And here we have a very interesting boss fight. So there's no real need to focus the snake pet next to her. Basically, the snake does do damage, and the tank will have taunt on both the boss and their pet. However, when it's time for the mechanic to show, you'll hide with the pet in a shield. So she's going to start screaming, or rather singing, which damages you over time. While it's not too high of a damage, and probably your group can get healed through it, it's best to just stand in the shield if you're right next to her and just keep DPSing. As you'll see, no one focuses the pet snake, it's just a waste of time. And when she dies, her pet dies with a broken heart. Poor snake. And after the boss fight, you want to pull that drawbridge switch. Otherwise, you won't be able to go across the bridge coming up soon to the rest of the dungeon. As always, if you guys have any questions or comments, put them down below in the comment section, and I'll be sure to read them. I know a lot of people said they have a few questions about some dungeon mechanics, so I'd be more than happy to answer them. And here's our next boss fight of Arx Corinium. Just another Lamia boss. This one doesn't really do much. It basically just puts someone, or rather targets someone with an AoE. Kind of like a dartboard kind of AoE. So the closer you are to the center of that AoE, as you can see there's two separate circles, the more damage it does. So if you stand right in the middle of it, you have a very high chance of dying, just as our friend here did. So right here, I block it and mitigate it. If I had not blocked it and mitigated it, I would have probably died. And it always randomly targets one person, so the tank cannot taunt that ability. So that's pretty much all she does. And after you kill her, you just go on ahead to the next trash pools. And don't be afraid to kind of pull these trash along. They don't really do too much damage, and there's not too many of them anyway. That's why you see us very confidently going ahead here. And we're going to stop at the staircase to kind of just clean it up, because we are approaching another boss again of Arx Corinium pretty soon. And here's the next boss. It is an ancient lurcher. So basically this lurcher, besides its cleave and its heavy attack on the tank, which I sort of experienced, it's basically just a one mechanic boss. All it does is it saps one's essence. Basically, you just have to heal through it as a healer. It can target anyone, a DPS, a healer, or a tank. Not tauntable, and you just gotta heal through it if you're a healer. If you're a DPS, it does help if you shield, but otherwise it's not too much of a drain, and you just end up killing the Ancient Lurcher anyway. And that's pretty much it. And that's how you just kill that last boss. And we're gonna see more mobs up ahead here. And there won't be too many more because we are approaching the final boss room. And here we are. And there's a treasure chest right there. There's often a treasure chest over there. And so we're going to read the hard mode scroll. Now the key thing about this fight is if you are the tank, please put this boss in the water. As you can see, she has a damage shield, a huge damage shield. It's a waste of time just DPSing this fight. All hard mode does is raise her health. But if you put her on land, she has a huge 400k plus shield. You cannot crit shields in PvE or PvP, so as a PvE DPS, damage dealer, your crits are just not going to hit at all. So right now we're just wasting time. I don't know why the tank didn't put her in the water, but essentially the longer this fight goes on, the higher chance someone has of dying to the scream, which is not tauntable. But yeah, as you can see, she's still on land, and she'll get the damage shield every phase. If you put her in the water, you don't have to necessarily tank in the water with her. You can just put her in the water and you can stand on the edge of land as a tank. But even then, you'll still be able to be healed through the electrified water. If you put her in the water, she has no shield. So essentially, you're only going to have a 4 million plus health fight here without a shield. So we just pretty much spent a lot of time DPSing through a shield rather than the boss. And yes, while her health does take damage while we do DPS her shield down, it's still a longer fight. It's just not really needed. And this is pretty much the stack and burn fight. As you saw, all our mechanics are pretty avoidable, but the scream is definitely the deadliest. And that's pretty much it, guys. That's how you clear hard mode Silistrix in Arx Corinium. Just remember, fight her on land, but have her stay in the water. And thank you so much for watching.